Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Pro Wrestling Logic YouTube review series for Superstars of Wrestling, the 20th of November, 1993. We continue that review series, which will, at least for the moment, pause as we move towards 1994. We can finish out 1993. That's about all we can do now. Maybe they'll add more to Peacock in the next month to come, I hope. I hear they have added a good bit of stuff. We are also in the midst of doing NXT from the beginning, 2010 to now. So that's about 500 episodes there that is going to be pretty cool to do. Anyway, we continue to be one of the fastest growing and most comprehensive wrestling review series on YouTube in terms of things. We go into enhancement stuff here. And the Guns, Bart and Billy, are your opening tag team act for the day. I remember being in the crowd when they were doing debuts before television, starting on the road, not been on television yet, just trying things out. Bart and Billy, and Billy Gunn still around 30 years later with his son. It's just kind of interesting that he's still roundabout and doing reasonably well over in AEW, it appears. Anyway, arm drags and basic stuff there. Billy Gunn not really wanting to do too terribly much. Does enough to get by, but at the same time, kind of basic stuff, arm drags, arm bars, and the like. Think about this. They only had about less than 2 years in the business, he and Bart both, when they started with the WWF, and then they managed to stay. At least Billy managed to stay national in one form or another for nearly 30 years, so that's a good sign. Bulldog by Billy Gunn comes in, takes the enhancement talent down to the canvas, and makes things pretty simple from their perspective. You know, double Irish whip, and drops the elbow right on the enhancement guy, and manages to do just about everything he needs to do there. Billy gets sent off the ropes, big power slam by Billy Gunn, and continuing to go in the nature of things. More hype for the Survivor Series. Various teams, Luger's team and Yoko's team is the focal point here, and that makes sense because their build is the main event, with Luger being in the main event, also moving into the Yokozuna Undertaker program early '94. Another reason to put that there. I wonder if Tatanka being removed from the team would be an important factor to begin with. Don't really know what the deal is there, but is what it is as far as things are concerned. Anyway, we see Bam Bam Bigelow throwing his adversary over the top rope after a drop kick and a couple of punches. Luna, his main squeeze, out there with him. The enhancement talent, I believe Scott Taylor, slides in behind Bigelow and gets a couple of shots in. Doesn't really do a whole heck of a lot of good, but at the same time does enough to get things going. And ultimately, Doink is the distraction point there, continuing to do multi-doinks on the video wall. Jim Ross is the starter for the, I guess, the report. They're promising IRS's team, Diesel's team, promising the Teamsters maybe that they are going to officially eradicate everything going forward and eliminate Razor Ramon and friends. Then we see Owen Hart again in another enhancement match right prior to the Survivor Series. Idea being that Owen Hart is going to become a major force in the WWF at the time, within a matter of weeks actually. But he's here as a babyface and fires up pretty well. Owen showing his athletic prowess with Iron Mike Sharp. Sharp bumps around for him quite well, but doesn't always do things exactly according to plan. Needless to say, Sharp comes back into the ring, gets an advantage, roll up by Owen Hart, doesn't get all he wants on it, does get enough though. Owen, arm wringer, and hard shot by Sharp. Sharp manages to do just about everything he can do, and also manages to do everything that is necessary there. Owen with the top rope dropkick and other things. Some criticism from Jeff Jarrett of the fact that he doesn't have the backup talent that he needs. Hype for Todd Pettengill and Mania and the upcoming changes to the WWF schedule. Timothy Well and Stephen Dunn, managed by Harvey Whippleman. PJ Walker, aka Just Incredible, in this match. Walker gets a few arm drags, a couple of drop kicks off on that situation. But however, Well and Dunn do double team and get a victory there, pretty simply put. Survivor Series hype Todd Pettengill in to do that. And we basically get the amounting to what the matches are that are going to be part of the Survivor Series forthcoming. I mean, that's basically what they spend about 5 minutes on here. IRS out next, promising to repossess everything that belongs to Bret Hart. Hart manages to come in and have a really, for the time, decent match with IRS. I actually remember seeing them at King of the Ring, I think it was 91, one year, and they had a decent house show match there too. Always wondered how IRS worked in the shoes that he wore, very basic shoes. Anyway, drop toe hold by IRS, floats over, and Bret cinches up on the arm, drops the knee into the arm, hangs with the headlock for a couple of minutes, doesn't waste any motion, does Bret Hart. Some roll throughs, basic stuff. Mr. Fuji makes his way out because of the upcoming rematch with Bret Hart and Yokozuna in the upcoming Survivor Series showdown. IRS manages to work the leg for a couple of minutes, tries to get an advantage there, and suplex and such by IRS gets him an advantage for a near fall. Decent match for the time period, worth going out of your way to see if you haven't before. Probably doesn't hold up to today's standards, but today's standards, honestly, most wrestling is spotty trash as opposed to not storytelling. And so, back chin locks and the like. Slower match than most would like, but it is what it is. IRS takes Bret Hart into the corner and tries to beat him over. Mr. Fuji is pretty well committed and connected to the continuation of this particular war. Inside cradle, small package maneuver, and Hart just barely gets out of that. Yokozuna comes out and is looking to interfere here. Owen Hart comes out, jumps on the back of IRS because of interference and saves his brother. There is certainly an aggression to Owen Hart around his brother that isn't normally there. More hype for the Survivor Series, as I believe it's that following Wednesday night. Needless to say, The Undertaker and Yokozuna, and obviously Jim Cornette says that The Undertaker should be scared. No, Yoko doesn't like the dark, but it is what it is, and it can be what it can be. Anyway, we continue our series, and that will close this particular episode, but we will be back right after this.